Building roofs in Minecraft is a hard thing to do. Although it might seem simple at first, roofs are one of the most complex and confusing parts of a build, and if done right can really make your house. In this video I'm going to show you 5 tips which I find very useful when building roofs. As you can see here, I've made the main part of the roof out of spruce, but I've made this border out of dark oak. I find this can really vary the block palette of your build, and especially your roof. It can also define better where the border of this particular part of the roof on the build is. The blocks I like to use for the border are usually slabs, stairs for the A-frame, and then I like to put fences and fence gates up the top. You can use any old block really there, you don't have to use fences and fence gates if you don't like that. That's just something I like to do because I think it looks interesting. For my next tip, as you can see, I've used full blocks instead of stairs for my roof. This might look a bit odd at first, but when you go further back you can barely tell they're blocks, and this means that you can get a lot more variety in your colours and your textures and your gradients when building roofs. Although I do usually make sure the trim, which I showed you in the last tip, is still stairs, so that the outline of the roof doesn't look too blocky. Although when you go for bigger builds this doesn't really matter. When building houses, they're not always just one rectangle. They can come in all sorts of shapes, and when putting roofs on them I find it looks far better to connect and interconnect the roofs, as I've done here. This can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're using stairs unlike blocks that I've done here, so I'd recommend you practice this a couple times before you put it on a final build. But with enough practice this can look like a really nice roof and can really finish off your build well. As you may see in the real world, roofs do not all have the same slant. This can also be translated into Minecraft. Here I've designed quite a sharp incline in the roof. You can do anything from a very wide one like you might find in the Mediterranean, or a sharp one like this which you might find somewhere more north, like Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway. There are hundreds of different designs you can use for different slants on your roofs. This is just one of them that I have here as an example, and they can be quite challenging sometimes or very easy. And I find if you variate all sorts of different slants in your build it can have quite a nice effect on the overall design as long as you keep some things similar. My final tip today is to remember that your roof is not a separate entity from the rest of the house. And because of this you can have details like windows and chimneys intersect and sort of interact with the roof. As you can see here, the trim of the roof sticks up a little bit to let them kind of look out almost. And the trim breaks entirely to let this chimney through, which I think looks quite nice, and it also makes the build feel more together, which is a weird thing to say, but it makes more sense when you build for a while. I've also done the same thing on this side of the roof, just to show you that you can also do it on this part and it doesn't have to be on the front. In case you're wondering how to do it, it's you kind of just break blocks. It's kind of obvious. If you've made it this far, then thank you. It means the world. You might have noticed this is only my second video, and it's been a while since I put out my first one, just over 2 weeks. This is mainly because these videos take ages to make, and I'm still working out a lot of the technical difficulties of recording because I haven't really done it before. I'm working on streamlining the process, so hopefully I'll have one a week. So look out for that, I guess, and thanks for watching.